So my name's Chrissy Mayer, and I'm with Dccca. So I oversee our community-based services division, which is where the work of Engaged Douglas County and YEP occur. So if we can go to the next slide, I'll just share a little bit about Dccca and what we do in general. So our behavioral health services are implemented across Kansas, offering residential and outpatient treatment, and also some mental health treatment services. We are home based in Lawrence, Kansas, but we do have offices in Wichita, Pittsburgh, Pratt as well. So kind of all over there. We're also a child placing agency where we train and recruit foster homes, and we have more than 400 foster homes in Kansas right now. In our community-based services division, we have traffic safety and prevention work. So with our prevention work, we support a variety of community coalitions across the state. And then we also have traffic safety programs and prevention programming in the state of Oklahoma, also Iowa and Missouri as well. So really trying to branch out into the Midwest piece a little bit. We also offer family preservation programs in the Kansas City metro and then also the Wichita region. And then finally, we have a pretty robust research and analysis division. You might actually see them out and about right now. We're implementing our child safety seat survey right now. So we have some observers out on the side of the road documenting folks who might be using their seatbelts or not. And so we partner with Dccca on that project. Next slide, please. So as Meg mentioned, the county came to us in about 2018 with the idea of, hey, we really need to address substance use and suicide. Out of the community health plan, there were 3 areas that emerged. One of those was prioritizing prevention. Another piece focused on integration across the systems of care, and the other was improving access to care. So out of this, many of you might have heard about our treatment and recovery center. This was really born out of a lot of this work as well. But we're really going to focus on this prioritized prevention piece, which is where we've seen a lot of great things happen. The first was the formation of a community coalition, which we call Engaged Douglas County. We currently have over 80 partners on that coalition, and we really focus heavily on substance misuse and suicide prevention because, as Meg mentioned, these really do intertwine, and really you can't address one without addressing the other. They're really that intertwined. With Engage, after about a year or so of working with the Adult Coalition, we recognized a big gap with our youth work, and we formed the Youth Empowerment and Prevention group. It actually started out as the Douglas County Youth Prevention Board, or DCYPB. That was a mouthful, and the kids thought we could do better. And so we became YEP about 2 years ago, started in with YEP and some rebranding with that. Next slide, please. So just a little bit about Douglas County in general. We're a pretty young community, so almost a quarter of the population is under 18, and it is comprised of primarily 4 cities: Lawrence, Eudora, Baldwin, and then Lecompton. So one of the school districts we work in, the Perry-Lecompton School District, half of it sits in Jefferson County, the other half sits in Douglas, but we work fully with them as well. We have 2 colleges as well, actually 3. So we have KU, Baker, and then also Haskell Indian Nations University as well, which often having a college campus does bring some, some great things, and then also some challenges, especially related to acceptance related to underage drinking and other substance use. We also have a really long history of acceptance of substance use. Kind of a fun fact I like to share. I don't know if it's really fun or not, but it's interesting. Marijuana use in Lawrence in particular has some very interesting fines associated with it. So if you're caught with marijuana in Lawrence, the first fine for possession is $1. Your second fine for possession is also $1. However, your third fine for possession becomes a felony. Which is really problematic. And so often, especially with our college population, a lot of them are not from this area. And so when they come in realizing, oh, marijuana, no big deal, it's just $1 fine. And then by the time you're caught with possession for a third time, it's a felony. That can really impact how your life rolls out. So we've tried to do a lot of education related to that as well. Next slide, please. We utilize the strategic prevention framework for both our youth and adult coalition. So this is an evidence-based planning model that really has a 5-step process, and then with sustainability and cultural competence in between. So we worked closely with our Engage Douglas County Coalition. We spent about a year planning, walking through how we wanted to offer things, how we wanted to do things, what this looked like. Um, and then after the year of planning, we actually applied for a drug-free community support or drug-free community grant, which are grants available through the CDC. These are about $125,000. And so with that grant, we've been able to focus really on building the coalition and then also addressing youth substance use. The two primary substances that we focus on in um, Douglas County are alcohol and marijuana. However, with county funding, we also address marijuana, suicide prevention, and also prescription drug misuse as well. Next slide, please. This was just a process overview. I mentioned that we spent about a year reviewing our data. Another challenge that we had initially, the first year that we came together as a coalition, we had no data available. The school districts have had challenges since 2015 participating in the KCTC student survey data, and so Douglas County as a whole did not have enough participation. And so, fortunately, we were able to do a lot of focus groups, do some other data collection data, um, and really focus on, how do we identify what the problems are. The first year, we spent a lot of time meeting with students so they could address what the issues they were seeing were, and that really helped us develop our plan. So with our first year of Drug-Free Communities grant, we used our focus group data and other data sources to kind of paint the picture and tell the story of what was happening in our community. So with that, we developed a logic model and action plan utilizing that strategic prevention framework, really focused on youth substance misuse. And then we supported that development of that youth prevention board to really guide strategies because youth listen to youth. I think that's what we found most of all. And so how do we best equip youth to be able to do a lot of the work and just share the general information? And so during the second year, we really began implementing those programs, policies, and practices. And then COVID, which, that was a challenge for everyone, but we had a really great group of youth and then also dedicated community partners as well. And we were able to shift and change a lot of strategies. And actually, during that COVID time, we were able to offer a large scale youth conference that was all virtual, was wildly successful. We actually had a lot of youth from outside of Douglas County and from other states as well, because kids were looking for things to do during that time. And so since then, we've been able to evolve and build on that as well. Next slide, please. So I really just want to highlight a few of the programs and strategies that our coalitions offer. So YEP is as I mentioned, the youth branch of the board that we work with. And then Sources of Strength is our primary program. And this is really that upstream suicide prevention program that Meg was sharing. Again, there's lots of the outcomes with Sources of Strength really do focus on both substance use and suicide prevention, because again, a lot of the protective factors that you're implementing with Sources of Strength really relate to the aspect of substance misuse as well. We also do a lot of safe medication disposal strategies. So we've implemented drop boxes in 6 pharmacies in Douglas County, especially in our outlying communities. So Lawrence is the largest community, but then we have the outside areas of Eudora, Baldwin, and Lecompton. And oftentimes it's difficult for folks to get into the larger city just from, transportation. So for example, Eudora is only 6 miles from Lawrence, but it might as well be an island for someone who doesn't have a car or something else to get to that community. We also offer Reward and Reminder, which is a program that is focused on tobacco retailer training, essentially. So we send underage youth in with our law enforcement partners to attempt to purchase tobacco or vaping products. If the clerk refuses the sale, they get a little $5 gift card and a thank you card saying, thank you for not selling tobacco products to youth. We appreciate your help. If they choose to sell, they get a red card saying, hey, remember to check ID. It's illegal to sell you, cigarettes or vaping products to youth. So we've had really good partnerships with our retailers on that and have had a lot of positive interactions there. We also offer Handle with Care in our Lawrence School District and then also our Baldwin City School District as well. As of our last reporting, so this school year, we've had about 80 Handle with Care referrals. So these are referrals that Let's say law enforcement interacts with a student outside of school hours, or they go to a home, let's say responding to domestic violence or something, and there's a child there. They find out where that child goes to school, and they contact the building principal and say, hey, Susie had an interaction, her family had an interaction with law enforcement tonight. She might be a little out of sorts at school tomorrow. So, please handle her with care. They don't say what specifically happened or, who was involved, that type of thing. They just let the school know that, hey, this kid, maybe they're going to be tired and they might need to go to the nurse's office to take a nap. Maybe they're just going to be out of sorts. So maybe today's not the best day to take a test. Just being mindful of things that have happened to that child outside of school hours that might impact their school day. We've had a lot of success with that. And really, our police partners have really championed that effort within their school districts. We also offer the good behavior game as part of one of our strategies as well. This is really a classroom management strategy that we've had good luck with. We have implemented this in other non-school settings as well and are looking at ways that we can enhance this project as well. Really giving the kids an opportunity to learn appropriate classroom behaviors. It's not something extra that teachers have to do, but rather it's a way to manage classroom. In our Baldwin City School District, this has been wildly embraced. We actually started by just training the first grade classrooms, but we've since evolved into K through 3, and so that is evolved in their full primary center as well, and then moving into their intermediate center. Some additional strategies, we have a variety of work group strategies. So we have a suicide prevention work group in particular. We have a DFC, or a drug-free community strategy work group, that really focuses on what are some strategies we can implement and do that align with our drug-free strategy work. We offer a summer wellness series that'll be coming up, and you can go to our Engage Douglas County website and you can check out what those summer wellness series have looked like previously. Essentially, it's just a short little kind of educational clip targeting, parents, focusing on how to keep your kids well in the summer. So this summer we'll be doing a piece around safety planning, some pieces on online safety, some pieces around substance misuse as well. Just giving those tips so they're easy to access. Parents can access them 24/7. A real easy watch there. We've done a lot of media campaigns as well. So you can Engage Douglas County is on Facebook and Instagram, and then YEP is on Instagram as well. And so you can see some of those campaigns as well. We've done some early intervention campaigns. We've done some vaping prevention campaigns. We'll be kicking off our mental health month campaign soon. April, we had some alcohol awareness campaigns. So really trying to align with that kind of the annual calendar on things that are occurring. We do a lot of parent training as well. And most excitingly, we just kicked off our Leading Causes of Life 5K Festival. That happened on Saturday. It was an incredible event. This was an event we worked closely with headquarters on to promote. We had about 84 runners in our first 5K, and then probably about 150 folks in attendance who just came out for the festival piece. We had yard games, just different activities for families and people to participate in. And it was really just a real positive event, though there are actually photos, on our website that you can check out as well. We've done a lot of partnerships with our alcohol retailers as well, really focusing on thanking our retailers for not selling alcohol to minors. So that's been our big piece there is alcohol retailers want to do the right thing. They recognize their license can be at jeopardy if they sell to minors. And so really, we don't have an issue with retailers selling to minors. Our primary issues come from those who are 21 years or older providing alcohol to minors. So we have some education to do in that regard there. We do have some community-specific work groups as well. So we have a Eudora work group that we have a great mobilizer for that work, and she is just taken the bull by the horns and has really implemented some really cool things in Eudora in particular. They offered an Embrace Eudora health fair where they had a variety of health screenings and just other resources available to the community. And the great thing there was that it was all accessible to folks in Eudora. Again, that transportation barrier was eliminated just because everything came to them. The Eudora work group also really focuses on some food inequity as well in the summer. So they support what's called Feeding Eudora, which is a summer um, lunch program essentially that provides free meals to anyone in the Eudora community. So some really great stuff there. Also, most recently, this semester in January, we did kick off some school-based prevention specialist programming. So this is where we place 2 prevention specialists in the Eudora and then the Perry Lecompton School District. This is a pilot project. We're just trying to assess, how's it going? Because oftentimes what we hear from school staff is they have lots of other jobs, they have lots of other things happening, and so crisis is really what they're focusing on. What we're hoping is that if we can put prevention specialists in the schools, we'll be able to alleviate some of that crisis by heading it off before it happens. So like Meg mentioned, that upstream approach, placing those prevention specialists is that upstream piece so we can connect with kids before they hit that crisis point and implement some of those things. So we are currently in conversations with Douglas County to see how we can enhance that and bring that to the other school districts as well. Next slide, please. So as Meg mentioned, this is our kind of some YEP activities, and Meg, feel free to pop in on some of these as well. YEP has done a great job. We have YEP chapters in all of the middle school and high schools in the county right now. Some are certainly more robust than others, but we're currently working on identifying ways that we can train up our YEP sponsors and really focus on ensuring that they are aware of what needs to happen and seeing how we can best support some of that work there. One of the things the YEP group has done is connected with law enforcement related to relationship building, because one of the things that we found was that students felt oftentimes their interactions with law enforcement were not positive. And so we really wanted to kind of change that narrative. And so Eudora in particular has embraced these law enforcement luncheons. They usually have one at least every semester now, where our sheriff's department, city PD, they go to the middle school in particular, play games with the kids, have lunch with them. It's a really neat thing to happen there as well. They also focus a lot. Oh, sorry, Meg, go ahead. I saw you unmute there.
No, I was just going to give some context for how the groups in each school communicate with one another, because the other cool component of YEP is that they are implementing these strategies in their own local schools, but quarterly they get together with the other groups in the county to share what they've been doing, to brainstorm ideas for this next quarter, and really get to celebrate and interact with folks from different schools. So I just think that's a really important piece to highlight.
Yeah, that's a great point too, because again, a lot of times our schools, our students in our schools are pretty transient. So, you might have a kid from Eudora who transfers to Lawrence and then they end up transferring back. So if we can have some of those similar aspects and they have some connection there, it does help. YEP has also hosted a variety of kind of spirit weeks, which is really focused on those healthy behaviors. Eudora in particular, they're focusing on healthy friendships right now. And so I think they did a kind of some flower planting and some just different things. I mean, the kids come up with the ideas and they really take it and run with it, which is exciting as well. They also have done some campaign pieces. And that's part of the Sources of Strength program, really does focus on those campaigns. And so the students really dive into that and decide, how they want to manage those. They've also done some policy work related to tobacco use in particular and health equity. In Lawrence and Douglas County, they've gone to community meetings and been able to advocate for policy change and just share how some of those things have impacted them. They've focused on a variety of, stress reduction activities, because a lot of the things that we found when we did some focus groups with students was that they were self-medicating related to anxiety. And so how do we help them manage their anxiety and stress? Because it's hard being a kid today compared to, being a teenager, 30 years ago. The world is a lot different and we need to respond differently to them. done a lot of work around vaping prevention, and then students also have the opportunity to attend the CADCA conferences. We've taken youth the past 3 summers, I believe, to CADCA. Usually it's a small group. This summer we'll be taking 8 youth from the Eudora and Perry-Lecompton districts. We've taken students from Lawrence previously as well. But this is an opportunity for students to network with peers across the country to see that they're doing similar activities, doing different things. The last group we took, it was the first time they got to ride on an airplane, which was, exciting. So they're getting, different opportunities as well by being able to participate in this group. Additionally, they've done some advocacy at the Capitol Take Down Tobacco Day, and then participation in some just national campaigns as well. So really just a variety of different aspects. And Meg, I don't know if there are any other aspects of YEP that you'd want to highlight. With Meg being a co-sponsor of that with Ariel Cohn from our office, Meg really probably has a better overview of some of the things that are happening there.
I think that this really highlights sort of the main projects that they've been involved in. The only thing I would add is that a lot of the activities that the YEP students participate in are built around the Sources of Strength wheel. So the Sources of Strength wheel includes 8 components of overall wellness, and there's a curriculum that they get trained in and learn how to be really supportive to their peers, and also how to apply strength to their own lives. So essentially it's a way to teach coping skills and strategies for navigating really tough things in life. And so the stuff that you're seeing on this list here in front of you is a lot of times informed by that Sources of Strength wheel. So Sources of Strength really ties everything together.
Thanks, Meg. And I believe that concludes kind of our presentation piece. And I think we're open for questions at this point. We really just wanted to give kind of a high level overview of the things that were happening in the county and just how we're collaborating, with each other. I'm certainly grateful to have Meg's knowledge and expertise as we partner on all these things as well.